Hey, two viewers, TJ Pyramid here. Uh, this is a VR to my brother Johnny Blues, the Blues Man, on a video he did, basically earliest console gaming memories. And I have been a gamer for as long as I can remember. I was playing video games before I was, reading books and stuff. Squeaky chair is back. But I think my earliest memories are probably my brother's Pong setup. Uh, my actual first console was the Atari 2600. I had like, what's it called? The Odyssey 3 or something of that nature. Um, and my mom and dad used to own a bar in Artois, California, called Blackie's Bar, and it was an old gas station and garage that they converted into a bar, and we had some arcade machines in there. We had I'll mention one in particular, Donkey Kong. I remember just thinking Donkey Kong was the top of the pops, man. That it had the greatest graphics I'd ever seen. But we had the keys to the machines because my dad basically owned the arcade machines, so I could, use the key and give myself a gazillion free plays, so I didn't have to put no quarters in, or whatever it was back then. I don't know. And after the Atari 2600 and like the Odyssey 3 or whatever it was, I don't remember much about that system. I think I picked it up at a garage sale or something like that for a couple bucks, and I don't remember it being all that fantastic. Remember those old controllers that were like almost like a shoe, and they had like a little twisty knob and like buttons and shit? Yeah, that was terrible. Uh, but then of course went on to like the original Nintendo, and that's really where it bloomed, just because there were so many more games, and the graphics were top of the line. Uh, and then we would have like actual arcades. Anybody out there remember arcades? Yeah. Um, we have one here called Wonderland, which is supposed to be a nickel arcade. All the games take a nickel. You pay a fee to get in, which is like $5 or $6 just to get in the place. And all the games take nickels. Yeah, all the games take nickels, but some take almost $1 worth of nickels to play. So that defeats the whole purpose of that place. But anyway, we used to have an arcade called Tilt here in our mall, which was absolutely fabulous. They always got the hottest, newest, freshest arcade machines right out of the box. I used to have a blast going there, playing the Street Fighters and Killer Instincts and stuff like that. Mostly the fighting games when I was really big into fighting games back then. Um, so that was a blast. But for home consoles, the Nintendo, and then of course the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, which I had at the same time. And when I lived in a town called Amity, Oregon, which is about a half hour from the town I live in now, Salem. Um, I had them both set up, hooked to my 19-inch, 600-pound TV. That was a pain in the ass to move. That's why it never got moved or dusted under for any reason. But I had them both hooked up. I remember playing the Final Fantasies on the Super Nintendo, Phantasy Star 2 on the Sega Genesis. I remember buying that at Toys R Us, and it came in the big, thick, fat plastic case, and it came with like a little mini, like pocket-sized strategy guide that was so worn in, and playing the hell out of the RPGs on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. Seeing what game was better on what system, kind of like the PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One. What system has the better version of the game? Like the Mortal Kombat or something. One of the Mortal Kombats, Mortal Kombat 2 or something like that on one of the systems. Nintendo took the blood out or some shit, something like that. And then of course from there, moved on to the Sega Dreamcast, the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1, I remember waiting for this game here. This is actually a pre-order. bonus item, Final Fantasy VII for the PS1. This changed role-playing games, I think, right here. Final Fantasy VII just that raised the bar, 100 notches for RPGs. But the Dreamcast, I think, was a fantastic system. Really good role-playing game on that called Skies of Arcadia. Probably my favorite game on that system. And then they just really had some lackluster games. Like I remember a game called Crazy Taxi, which was like an arcade port to the Dreamcast. And I remember I probably did everything you could do in Crazy Taxi in like a 24-hour period. And I was like, well, that's shitty. So I took it back. But yeah, the Dreamcast, and then of course the PlayStation 2. That's where stuff took off again. The PlayStation 2 is a system I still own to this day. The wife actually has a system hooked up to a TV in the living room now, and she's actually started to play Final Fantasy X. And don't even get me going on the Final Fantasies. I could do a 72-hour video on the Final Fantasy games. So she's playing Final Fantasy X. So there we go. The PlayStation 2 to me still has life. Still have fantastic games for it. Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, the best wrestling game ever. Hands down, period. Truly just an awesome, awesome system. And like I said, to me, still has a lot of life left in it. Still plays DVDs. That was my first DVD player for the longest time. I bought like a little Cyberhome $20 player, which eventually burned out because I watched DVDs like a mad maniac. But so yeah, still play the PlayStation 2. Still have a PS1. Have Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 on that system. Have Final Fantasy Tactics on that system. So it's still sitting there. It can still be played. It still works. Still functions. Controllers are good. Fantastic. Then it was up to the decision of, do I want a PS3 or an Xbox 360? I went with the 360 at the time because they just had more games that I wanted. More exclusive type games that I wanted, and that's just the way that I went with that. I still eventually want to get a PS3. They still have some games, the Uncharted games and things like that, that I still want to play. Little Big Planet, things of that nature that I'd really enjoy playing someday. So eventually I'll get a PS3. And then it was to the PS4 and the Xbox One, which of course, if you've seen my videos, you know that I went with the Xbox One, which is under its black thing there. This is the Xbox 360, which I'm playing right now because of Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and I actually just picked up this game for it the other day. Injustice Gods Among Us, the Ultimate Edition. Man, they sure changed Lobo. He looks like shit now, I think. Used to be a big old muscular badass. Now he's some kid that hangs outside of Hot Topic wanting to pick up the newest t-shirt. Anyways, so yeah, I went with the Xbox One for Killer Instinct and Dead Rising. Of course, the PS4 still has a lot of good games that I'd like to play at some point eventually, somewhere down the road in the future. Yeah, but I'm going to continue gaming for as long as I can. Until either the systems become so outrageously priced, which they're almost. I mean, I wouldn't have an Xbox One if I didn't take these surveys and have basically enough money to pay for an entire system with gift cards that I get for free. Otherwise, I wouldn't have an Xbox One. Yeah, so until a gaming system comes out and it's like $700, $800, $900, which some of those special edition systems with like bigger hard drives and shit, they can be $500 or whatever now. But not a fan of the internal hard drive type saving for gaming systems. All hard drives have to crash or fail at some point in their lifespan. I like the old, let's just put it on a little memory card, boop, there we go, I can take it out, put it in someone else's machine, boop, boop, do this, just whatever. It's just so much easier, so much safer. So yeah, until it becomes to where every video game needs to be online only, or every game is eventually going to be some huge, massive multiplayer type thing, I'll keep playing games as long as I can. I mean, I have Borderlands, a pre-sequel. You can have 4 people at once on that, but I don't know anybody that has an Xbox 360, and Borderlands 1, 2 or the pre-sequel for that matter. So, you know, I can't do anything with that. I know that Black Friday coming up, a lot of stores are having the 3-month subscription cards for like $12 or something like that. So I might buy one of those and just test out the Xbox Gold and maybe try to do some online gaming with people. But I know there's a lot of cheaters out there that you know, mod their characters, mod their weapons, which to me just ruins gaming. You know, I enjoy old cheat codes and stuff, but you know, not until I've beaten the game. Beat the game and then use cheat codes. Just makes it more fun, you know, when you get to experience it fresh for the first time without being like super powered. But yeah, I mean, I will continue to be a gamer for as long as my budget, what budget there is, allows me to be, and as long as the consoles don't get outrageous in price. So yeah, there we go. That's my VR to Johnny Blues. Fantastic video, my brother. Thanks for doing it. Always love doing video responses. So yeah, take care, comment, subscribe, spread the word, and cheers. Thanks for watching.